I came here because my choice was simple. Live or die.
My species is dying.
Why are you telling me this?
You are vital to the mission.
Go. Take him. Now.
The NBA Finals is over, but the pursuit for the Stanley Cup is still on. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NHL, has a can't-miss offer on the hockey playoffs.
All new customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $100 in free bets, even if your pick misses. You win no matter what.
Just like in hoops, all hockey fans can build their very own DraftKings same-game parlay.
Combine multiple bets, like which team will win, how many total goals will be scored, and more. It's your shot at an even bigger payout.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code SMOKE, bet just $5 on any NHL team to win, and get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's code SMOKE at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Anybody else in the draft, Jack?
Kenny Lofton Jr. He can score, can shoot, can do it all.
Is that Kenny Lofton's son, the baseball player? Okay, I was about to say, like, how the fuck is your dad so small and he got so big? Welcome back to What's Burnin', Jack. We officially have a champ in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors finished in 6th, like you said they would. Congratulations to them first and foremost. Did you get a chance to see any of the parade or any of the edits floating around social media?
Well, the night they won it, Draymond sent me a little text saying only the strong survive on Instagram of me saying that he shouldn't have been doing the podcast. If he was playing well, yeah, do it. But the way he's playing, he shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? I know that's my little brother. We go back and forth sometimes, but I'm so proud of him, bro, because he started off bad. And the reason why I said that he shouldn't have been doing the podcast during that time, Matt, because as me and you both know, how the old media, not us in the new media, would try to scrutinize him and try to ruin his legacy and blame the whole series on him on the podcast instead of their play, and it would have looked all bad. So that's all I was thinking. But I'm happy for my bro. Talk your shit, man. You deserve your shit. I watched a lot of it, Matt. Klay, Klay, I was looking for Klay the whole time.
Klay was out there wet. Klay was out there wet.
I was looking for Klay the whole time, and he didn't disappoint me, dog. I'm happy for the organization. I'm happy for all of them, man. It's big. I'm happy to be a part of that family as well.
No, definitely. I mean, again, hats off to this team. It's unfortunate, like we live in a society today that people feel like it's weak to show love. So instead of showing love the whole season, and even now, people are knocking them for whatever reason they can possibly find. But what I love is this team is a tight-knit group. They don't give a fuck about what the outsider has to say. And again, man, they're producing, 4 championship in 8 seasons. But what we talked about yesterday on ESPN was pretty funny because obviously there's some pettiness going on. Again, you remember as players, man, we may not be present for everything, but somehow, some way it gets back to us. Everything that's said by someone that's relevant eventually gets back to them. So Steph had some petty shit going on. Klay had some shit. Draymond was talking this shit. So I just think it was dope, again, after all this team has accomplished, to kind of just get that shit off your chest. Because, again, I'm sure in the position they were in, they endured just so much hate along the way. It's got to feel, vindicating to obviously win the championship first and foremost, but to be able to just shut all these motherfuckers up, man. So shout out to the homies, man. Warriors, 4 championships in 8 years.
We paid them fines for them to be able to talk their shit comfortably. We paid them dues. Believe that.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. Off season, man, they got a lot of choices coming up. First and foremost, Jordan Poole is heading into the last year of his rookie deal. He has until the 7th to strike a new deal with the Dubs. Andrew Wiggins, I didn't realize Andrew Wiggins is this young. What is he? He's still in his 20s, huh? The final season of his $147 million rookie extension. Obviously, Wiggins expressed he wants to stay. He's definitely found a home there. Looney, who was pivotal in these playoffs, is linked to possibly Sack and Mike Brown heading over there. Only guy to play every game this season. 104 games, 82 in the regular season, 22 in the post. Beautiful thing.
If I was playing his minutes, I'd be able to play 9 seasons straight.
Motherfucker got 3 rings.
3 of them motherfuckers.
Other unrestricted free agents, GP2, Iggy, Otto Porter, Bielitsa, Damian Lee. Let's play GM4 a little bit. I just gave you a list of people who are up. Let's talk about maybe some of the Warriors' top priorities.
Poole and Wiggins for sure. I think that's the 2 big ones. I mean, I'm pretty sure Iggy ain't coming back. They probably give Iggy a job somewhere in the office or somewhere. Damon Lee got a good shot because he brother-in-law Steph, so he might slide in there on a minimum or something. But Poole and Wiggins are big keys to their puzzle. Wiggins is their stopper, you know, with Klay slowing down a little bit, but I think Klay gonna be better next year. But that dynamic, having those guys as your core, I think that's what they're looking forward to be able to repeat.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because Poole is going to probably demand anywhere from 20 to 25 million per season. Wiggins, teams are going to throw money at Wiggins. It'll be interesting to see, who takes what to keep this team together. Also, GP2. I think he'll get, a couple $1 million situation to hopefully stay there. His journey's been a beautiful thing. Agreed. I think Iggy, we may have seen the last of Iggy, but if we have, man, 4-time champion, his accolades are incredible. His leadership and just the way he carried himself, man, will definitely be missing this game. And also someone else I think was important at times was Otto Porter. I think his versatility, his ability to make shots, played huge in this run for them. So they definitely got some stuff to do. But this team has showed they're not afraid to go into the luxury tax. They're deep in that motherfucker. So they're most likely going to have to, to me, it's all hands in, for Steph's final. I feel like they have a 2 or 3 year window. I could be wrong. It could be a little longer. But, they're getting Wiseman back. Again, they got a lot of young talent they need to resign. But I think it's all hands in. As much as it costs to continue to put a competitive team around Steph while he's here, I think they have to do.
Yep.
Jack, we haven't done this in a little while. We're back to fan questions. Let's run through a few questions for some of our fans that were tapping in from home, starting with Coach Giotti 12. What's the best game you think you two have ever played? Is there a game that comes to mind for you, Jack?
Best game I've played. I had 43 against Houston. I had 33 in Game 6 against Dallas, and I led the team in scoring Game 6 West Conference Finals for the Spurs. So those 3 games.
That's big. That's big. For me, shit. Probably in a losing effort, unfortunately, I had a 30-point and like 10 or 11 rebound game against Memphis in the playoffs when I was with the Clippers. The last year before we got Doc Rivers in Memphis. So it was a big game when Zebo tried to beat up Blake and I had to hard foul Zebo.
Yeah,
that was probably one of my more memorable games.
Next fan question, TD Johnson 87. Is Steph Curry a top 10 player of all time?
He has to be. I think he has to be. I don't know exactly where he fits in the hierarchy. Before we get to this, did you see Skip and Shannon's top 10 list yesterday?
I'm glad I didn't probably. I'm glad I probably didn't see it.
Skip had LeBron at number 9, which is fucking ridiculous. And then Shannon had Kobe at number 9 and didn't even have Shaq in the top 10.
Yeah, man. Like 2 non-basketball players. I respect them both and I love them both.
Yeah, I fuck with both of them. But come on, fellas. Come on, fellas. You're disrespecting the game. Top 10, yeah, to me, Steph is definitely top 10. A transitional talent. If you think about people who have kind of revolutionized the game, obviously the all-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a skyhook that'll never be matched, and although Steph shoots the 3 and other people shoot the 3, no one shoots that motherfucker like Steph. So to me, I feel like he's, kind of had a transitional movement in the game. He's moved the game forward. And, we talk about this all the time, and me coaching my kids and being at these tournaments, watching younger kids. Jack, these kids don't warm up in the paint no more. These motherfuckers put their shoes on and start shooting the ball from half court to get warmed up. And I feel like that's, the Steph Curry effect. And then not to mention all his accolades. A lot of people said he needed this finals MVP to define his legacy. To me, I think Steph is more worried about team success, and he was able to help capture his 4th championship in 8 years, add the finals MVP to it. But yeah, Jack, I definitely think Steph is in the top 10.
By far, not even close. He's in the top 10. When you talk about little guards,
best ever. I mean, AI, Isaiah Thomas.
I love AI to death, and AI was number one for a long time, but Steph has surpassed AI. You know
Agreed.
what I mean? And you know how I feel about AI. So
Right.
Steph is definitely in my top 10, not even close.
Yeah. Best 6'3" and under player. And I think he's jumped, with all due respect, AI and Isaiah Thomas. Some people have Isaiah Thomas up there and for good reason. But I think Steph has surpassed both those legends. Shankar_tennis. What are the Clippers' prospects next season, assuming a healthy Kawhi and PG?
I heard, they possibly trying to get Kyrie too. So I mean,
Could you imagine?
I don't know what the Clippers doing, but they're not doing nothing if Kawhi ain't healthy.
Yeah, I think Kawhi is obviously the key. Shout out T. Lue, man. He's been able to keep this team competitive and in the playoffs with stars missing majority of the whole season. PG came back at the end. But I think those two healthy automatically put this team in a top 5 position in the league. Also have heard the rumors about Kyrie Irving. And can you imagine if Kyrie came to L.A., put basketball first, and work with those two killers? Could be a problem. Definitely looking forward to the Clippers getting healthy next year.
Ebrich 369. What player do Celtics need in your eyes to get over the last hurdle?
I think this experience for the Celtics was a great learning experience. I think Jason Tatum's going to learn a lot from this experience and use it to drive him this offseason to get better. These guys played great. They just ran into, a really good veteran team. I think they need to add some depth first and foremost. And a point guard, I know it won't happen, but someone like a Jalen Brunson who can run the team, who can play defense, who can move Smart over. Because Smart has done a tremendous job of playing point, but I don't really feel like he's a natural playmaking point. I just think he's been able to be so talented, he can play the position. But a solid guard that plays his role. You remember they've tried Kemba, they tried Kyrie, and a scoring point guard doesn't work. I think Brunson can score out of necessity, but I also think he does a good job of running the team and he locks up on defense. So those are just a few things that kind of came to mind for me talking about the Celtics.
I think they're real put together. The Eastern Conference champs. They just made it to the finals. I don't really think it's too much they need to do. I think they can go small. If they add another guard, maybe like a guy you said, or Colin Sexton or something like that, they can add a guy like that and play smaller, where they can play Brown and Tatum at the 3 and 4 instead of the 2 and 3. And that way you can play Marcus Smart at the 2 guard, and he can do what he do best, shut the 2 guards down. That'll look better to me. But for the most part, dog, they just need to stay healthy, get Williams healthy, and see what they can do.
Yeah, maybe like a Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, I hope Williams gets healthy. I heard he had his knee drained several times during the playoffs, so hopefully he'll be able to get that calmed down and right before the season starts.
Malcolm Brogdon is a good name.
D. Smits 21. What is the biggest what if of your guys' careers?
For me, it's easy. What if I never got into that brawl in Detroit? I would have been a multiple All-Star. I had multiple years where I averaged 20. I would have got more accolades than what I had and probably looked at different. I didn't get those accolades just because of that, because I was looked at as a bad guy, something like that, and it affected my career. So what if I didn't get into that brawl in Detroit?
Also getting a lot more money.
Right.
And not being able to keep your money. I think my biggest what ifs are what if the motherfucking Lob City Clippers got it together and really fuck with each other on the court like we were supposed to and put egos at the door the way that Warriors team did when I got a chance to go there. Because I felt like for a couple of years we had the most talent in the NBA, the deepest team. And we should have won, at least played for a championship. Not saying we should have won it, but we should have at least played for a championship. But we couldn't get out of our own ways. So my biggest what if is what if the Lob City team fucked with each other.
Yeah, chip. Definitely a chip.
Next up on the radar, presented to you by DraftKings, the DraftKings 2023 odds-on favor for the NBA championship.
God damn, let the Warriors enjoy their shit.
Nah, bro, you already know that. It's on to the next. You know that the conversation is already what the fuck are the Lakers going to do and who's going to win it next year. You know how fast shit moves. So
right.
DraftKings has, surprise, surprise, the LA Clippers at a plus 600 right along with the Golden State Warriors. They're both odds-on favored to win. You can throw Boston in there with the plus 600 as well. Brooklyn with the plus 650. Milwaukee with the plus 800, Phoenix with the plus 900, And to round out the top 10, Philly with a plus 1,500. I want to talk about this real quick, Jack, before we get out of here. Doc Rivers was seen on TMZ, and they're asking what's up about James Harden. And he was, saying everything positive he could think of, because I think he remembered last time when he spoke on Ben Simmons, all the drama it caused in the offseason. Jack, do you think James will get a max from Philly, or do you think he'll leave the team some flexibility to be able to go out and grab another star?
Man, listen. We understand the game. We know what's going on behind the scenes. His guy is there. Maury's there.
That's
the only reason he went there when it was this time, to be there with his guy to secure the bread. I know what he was doing. He knew he didn't have to play his best. He knew he was going to get that bread anyway from his guy. Of course he's going to get that bread. He's going to get it right there from his guy, the guy he ran over there to, the guy that's coddling him, the guy that's letting him play whenever he wants to and play as hard as he wants to when he wants to. That guy, the same guy he was in with in Houston that he didn't win with, the same guy here in Philly that he hasn't won with yet, that's the guy he running to. That's the guy that's going to pay him.
So do you think, obviously he's been able to acquire a ton of money, and the goal of players is to get as much money as you can while you can. Knowing that he's accomplished every individual accolade you can accomplish with all-stars and scoring titles and triple-double records and shit, do you think he takes every penny on the table, or he leaves the team some flexibility to go grab another star?
If I'm James, I definitely get the most I can and still put my team in a position to get better. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to get the max amount he can and see if him and Embiid can do it by themselves right there in Philly. And if I lose or not, hey, I'm still in Philly, enjoying myself, dream chasers.
Still rich as fuck. Closing thoughts. To me, what makes the NBA continue to grow is that even though the championship has been decided, it'll still be the talk of the summer, because there's going to be so much, or there has been in the past, so much movement amongst stars and key players. Probably the biggest storyline this offseason, Jack, will be your boy Kyrie. What will he do? The Nets sound like they're fed up. They said they want someone who's ready, to put basketball and the team ahead of themselves. We all know when Kyrie is focused and locked in the game, there's not 5 better players on the planet than Kyrie. You've heard he's rumored to the Knicks, Lakers, and Clippers. What do you think will happen with Kyrie Irving this offseason?
You tell any grown man to put the basketball before their health first, they should look at you crazy. Me personally, bro, if it's over there, I would love to see him back with Bron. I mean, I hope that happened. They didn't made up publicly and privately, and Kyrie then came out as soon as the season was over and said he wouldn't mind. He wish he could fix some things and listen more to LeBron. So I think that'll be a good look for him. LA ain't got all them problems that New York had. It'll be a new start for him. He got a crib in LA, so it's not like he don't be out there anyway. That's where he work out at. So it is what it is, man. Whatever team he go to, he gonna help him. And I'm gonna always, I'm always rock with Kyrie.
It'll be interesting to see if he leaves the Nets. Obviously, player empowerment, we're all for that. But what it took for them to put that team together, he personally is the reason why Kevin Durant went to Brooklyn. James was in and out of there, got up out of there. To me, just the question is, and this is again not hating on nobody, because everyone seems like when you say something you don't agree with, it's hate. Is basketball going to be a priority to him? Because again, like I said, he's incredible. But you've seen, to his own admittance, in Cleveland, he was a little too immature to handle the situation with Bron. Goes to Boston, it doesn't work there. Goes to Brooklyn, doesn't work here. Also heard that he was throwing practices after practice, outside of Steve Nash. And you remember when Steve Nash was the coach, when they announced it, Kyrie came out and said, we coach ourselves. KD can coach, I can coach. So and we both know that respect in that locker room is what you need. So that's why I don't know if going back to the Nets is a possibility, because I just don't think there's any respect for the head coach. So Kyrie could be on the move. Imagine him coming to the Lakers. I'm sure that trade would involve Russell Westbrook. That means Russ would head back to the Nets to reunite with KD. Could be really interesting, man. And then again, we talked about earlier what he would do with Kawhi and PG. could be scary as well. So he'll definitely be the first domino that will kick off, I'm sure, what is going to be a crazy NBA free agency summer. Kenny Atkinson decides to walk away from being the Charlotte Hornets head coach. The numbers weren't specified, but I heard it was a 4-year deal. And, I think on average, coaches are getting 4 years, $20 million. They could have possibly offered him more. But, Jack, he left $20 million on the table. You have an emerging young superstar in Ball, Miles Bridges, a lot of young key pieces. Thoughts on him turning down that job and deciding to stay in chair number 1 in Golden State? I
get it. I stand as number 1 seed a year too. I get another option might come around. But for now, I'm comfortable being on this team and to seeing this next run that we finna go on. It could be a 3-peat, 2-peat. It could be anything. But I think he wants to sit there and experience that. And after that's over, maybe explore another job because I'm pretty sure it'll come around again.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I mean, I think obviously he would have the keys in Charlotte, but building everything that's going to take a lot. And it's there's a pecking order in the East. Although the goal is to make it. There's no real shot at winning the championship in the next 5 years in Charlotte. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe
he ain't the coach, Matt. He ain't the coach for Charlotte.
Yeah, but maybe he knows something in Golden State. Maybe Steve is going to ride off in the sunset when Steph decides to step down, and he can either be next in line or, like you said, possibly get in line for a better job than Charlotte. So, man, turns down $20 million to stay with the winning organization. To me, it just says a lot about the organization. You know what I mean? Yeah. Golden State has built something built on principle, starts at the top with ownership, and it trickles down. And when I tell you, man, it's just beautiful to be a part of. I definitely understand him turning this move down. Well, since Atkins is turned down this job, one of your favorite coaches to ever grace the floor, Mike D'Antoni, is supposed to be meeting with MJ about that vacancy. His offense could work there, but one thing he doesn't do is has his team play defense. Jack, what do you think about Mike D'Antoni possibly being the head coach of Charlotte Hornets? Oh, that's how you feel?
There's so many young coaches of all races that
recycle.
That are not D'Antoni, that hasn't won nowhere. Everywhere he's went, the kids know how to score. They need to understand how to play defense and how to be on the same page on the string on defense. Nobody needs D'Antoni. And D'Antoni, as corny as he is, as disconnected from the culture as he is, how could he coach Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball? It's not going to work, MJ. It got to be somebody around it to getting you in and be like, bro, look at this and look at this. You can look at that and tell that don't go together. So please don't do that. hey, please don't do that, Charlotte, because I'm trying to come to some games this year, and I don't want to see D'Antoni over there fucking the season up, man. And then I'm going to tell you what it's going to do. LaMelo going to go off on him. Then you're going to have problems with LaMelo because he want to win. And then what's going to be next? Somebody going to be asking for a trade.
This guy's foreseeing the future. I think, Ime Udoka has showed that we need to give – why do we continue to recycle coaches that haven't won anywhere? And I was a fan of Mike D'Antoni's offense when it first hit, but I think that shit has kind of died out. Like you said, Jack, these kids coming in the league now can score. That's what they do. They score. They need someone who's going to bring the best out of them, who can be a leader, and who can help them, strategize on the defensive end, because you've seen, the top 2 defensive teams in the league played in the finals this year. That's definitely not Mike D'Antoni. So I think, we got to stop recycling coaches in the league and giving some of these young up-and-coming former players that have their shit together opportunities, because we continue to show left and right that they're worthy of the opportunity. Moving on, Bradley Beal says he's healing from his wrist surgery, and we're also starting to hear a little bit of possible movement. Someone who has stayed loyal, similar to Dame Lillard, stayed loyal to the soil in D.C., but there are some talks that he could possibly move. He can sign a supermax there, if I'm not mistaken, with the Wizards. But, Jack, if Bradley Beal were to get up and move, cut ties to D.C., where could you see him fitting in at?
Everywhere, anywhere.
Right.
it don't even matter. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think going to Portland would be a good look for him, having him and Dame together. They said him going to L.A. was a possibility, and him going somewhere else was a possibility. But it don't matter, man. Anybody that can get a guy like Bradley Beal is getting an all-star top player in the league that's going to come in and put up numbers and compete on both ends of the ball. So it's a win-win with him.
I think him going to Miami would be big because Jimmy Butler could just kind of fall back into I don't have to score, be the leading scorer, but I can score if I need to. And then also imagine, James Harden is one of the best playmakers in the game still, even though he's not scoring. So imagine Beal, Harden, and Embiid in Philly would be real scary. So happy for this dude, man. I hope he decides to, you only have one career, and I know he's a good kid and wants to stay loyal, but, if he wants to win, it's not going to be in D.C.
Remember that game in Philly where Bill had 50 and Embiid had like 46, something like that? That was crazy.
Yeah,
with nobody in the stands.
But like you said, Bill's going to help anybody. Jack, NBA draft is Thursday. The latest mock draft has come out, and they have Jabari Smith going number 1, Chet Holmgren going number 2, Paolo going number 3, and to me, one of the most interesting prospects in the draft, Jaden Ivey going number 4. Thoughts on those guys? You got to see a couple of them in the Alice Iverson Classic.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Marquise Daniels. Jabari Smith, I'm coming from Auburn. Marquise tell me this kid is ready. Athlete, good kid, can do a lot of things on the court, so I'm not surprised he number 1, taking Marquise's advice. Chet and Paolo, man, these kids going to be great. Chet is long. He hungry, though, bro. He really wants to learn the game of basketball and be the best he can be. I saw him at the Charlo fight in L.A. And Paolo, man, he has the NBA body already.
Yeah.
And he has the confidence as well. He wants to be great also, man. So both of those kids going to be great in the league. The draft's going to be exciting. One
person that I probably, want to touch on again is Jaden Ivey. There's a lot of John Morant comparisons, and Sacramento, as they stand now, are sitting in that 4th position. Obviously, they've chosen De'Aaron Fox as the driver of their team by trading Halliburton last year. But I say that to say, they missed on Luka a few years ago, drafting Marvin Bagley. I really hope that Sacramento is not going to look back 2 or 3 years from now and seeing Jaden Ivey terrorize the NBA like, damn, we could have got Jaden Ivey, so we passed on Luka and Jaden Ivey. So Sacramento's sitting in that tough 4 position, again, because they have a point guard, but you want to pick what the best talent that's left on the board, and if the draft goes to the state, he's the next best talent. Could be even higher up, but, those 3 you mentioned before are really good. So it'll be interesting to see what Sacramento does with that 4th pick if they end up trading it away. Anybody else in the draft, Jack, that intrigues you or you're happy for?
Yeah, man, it's a kid from my hometown, Port Arthur, Texas, that went to Louisiana Tech. He's been making a lot of noise in all the NBA caps. Kenny Lofton Jr., big man, lefty, can real agile on his feet, can score, can shoot, can do it all, and he had a great year in college. So they got him a prospect to go 25 to the Spurs. But the kid is steady having a good summer, so I'm happy for him, and I definitely want to see him in the league because he'll be the 2nd from Port Arthur.
That's dope. Is that Kenny Lofton's son, the baseball player?
No, the 3rd. Excuse me, the 3rd from Port Arthur. No, that's not the same Kenny Lofton.
That's not? Okay, I was about to say, how the fuck is your dad so small and he got so big?
Yeah, his dad an OG from Port Arthur, Texas, man. Salute to the OG.
All right, man, best of luck to all the upcoming draftees in this draft this coming Thursday, and we'll see y'all out at Summer League. Y'all got to come sit down and chop it up with the old men. But, man, you can catch What's Burning available every week on Showtime Basketball YouTube.
And on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Show Basketball. Peace.
See y'all next week.
I came here because my choice was simple. Live or die.
My species is dying.
Why are you telling me this?
You are vital to the mission.
Go. Take him. Now.